So when the best hitter in the MLB free agent market teams up with the best player on the planet, well, we gotta talk about that.
The band that's big views. Boarded the plane, won't be back to May. Now I can't camp it with you.
Hey, what's up, guys? So today I am going to be talking about the new big deal that Anthony Rendon just got from the Los Angeles Angels. And so before I forget, don't forget, go down, subscribe. I post videos every single week talking about the biggest sports topics and giving my opinion on it and analyzing a little bit what is going on with these sports topics. And I also post every single day on my Instagram and also my Twitter, just talking about these different sports topics a little bit more in depth. And so I greatly appreciate if you guys could support me on either of those platforms. So let's get right into this huge signing that the Angels just got, especially after them wanting to really get Mike Trout some actual help. You know, it's been 5 or 6 years that he's been in the league, and he hasn't gotten any help whatsoever, and he hasn't really been able to even make it close to the playoffs because his team hasn't been able to do absolutely anything through the last few years, just because it's either lack of pitching, lack of offense, or they just don't have the right players to be able to give him the help to be able to get the team the right wins. And so now the Angels finally got some common sense and made this huge deal with Anthony Rendon. But the Angels actually need a ton of pitching, and that's why they were so involved with Gerrit Cole. And a report actually came out that said that they would do anything possible to sign Gerrit Cole. But now, after the signing with Anthony Rendon, they're really starting to hone into Madison Bumgarner, to guys like Madison Bumgarner. And so with this signing, it really does ramp up a lot of excitement with their offense, because their offense has kind of been lacking through the last few years, especially since the decline of Albert Pujols. And now with Anthony Rendon last year hitting .319 with 34 home runs, he's going to put a ton of bat power and a lot of power. He's going to put a ton of bat power into that lineup. And he's going to be able to make a lot of excitement and be able to, in my opinion, drive in a lot of runs that will be able to help the Angels win a lot of games. But when you look at their lineup, it still isn't something where you're like, whoa, like I'm going to let up about 5 to 6 runs against this team. Like, there is a lineup that is like really scary. Like all these analysts on MLB Network, I heard, wow, like, oh my God, like, should we be scared about Rendon, about with Trout? Is Pujols gonna ramp up his power again? Like what? Like, come on. Like, let's be honest here. Like, let's look at their lineup. Now they got Tony La Stella, who actually had a breakout year last year and is able to hit really well for average, and actually had an above average power season last year. So he actually really surprised me. But then we have the greatest hitter on the planet. And so with this start, you know, it doesn't really describe my point as well. But once we get more down the list, I'll be able to explain a little bit better why this lineup isn't that great. And so then we get to what is projected to be the 4th spot with Anthony Rendon, and then we get down to Shohei Ohtani, and you know, he's going to be a DH for a little bit of the season, but then he also goes obviously and pitches every 5 days, so it'll be interesting who they put in to the lineup when he is not hitting. And then we get into Justin Upton, which he had a pretty hard decline last year in his offensive stats. His average was really low, and he also had a pretty low home run numbers. So it'll be interesting if he's able to get back to that 25 to 30 home run numbers, and that would also be able to obviously bring a lot of firepower to this offense. And then we go down to the declining Albert Pujols, unfortunately, who in the last 4 years we haven't seen anything close to the same Albert Pujols. He's hitting around 220, 230 with barely getting over 20 home runs. So it'll be interesting what sort of support he'll be able to give to the Angels. Then we got a guy named Brian Goodwin, who used to be a big prospect for the Nationals. Then he went to the Royals, and now he's on the Angels. But like, he can barely hit for a lot of average. He can't hit for any sort of power. So quite honestly, I don't really know how much drive and how much firepower he's really going to be able to give to this offense. And then Andrelton Simmons always has a very good average. He's a very good average hitter, and he's always able to get on base. So he's going to be a really good player to be able to drive in those RBIs. And then we got Max Stassi, who isn't really that great of a hitter, as most catchers really aren't. But as you can really see with this lineup, I don't really think Rendon gives a huge upgrade, but it's definitely an upgrade for a team that didn't really have anything other than Mike Trout in their lineup in the first place. But now I really think this team really needs to focus a lot on what they're going to be doing with their pitching, because they don't have anybody in their starting rotation that is really going to scare anybody in the MLB. And so it'll be really interesting to see what the Angels do for the rest of this offseason to fix their other offseason needs. But let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about this signing. I was so surprised about it, especially with the Rangers, the Dodgers, and the Nationals being so interested. And in my opinion, I really think that from the trade rumors that had been going on with Chris Bryant and Nolan Arenado, I think that really ramped up the value of Anthony Rendon on a lot of these teams, and that's why the Angels gave him such a big contract. And so that's my opinion on this signing, and so I hope you guys really like this video. Please give me a big thumbs up if you really like these videos and you want me to continue to make them. Also, don't forget to go down and subscribe. I post these videos every single week. Also, don't forget to go and follow my Instagram and also my Twitter. I post on both of those every single day. So thank you guys so much for always the support. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See you guys next time.
Hold up, wait until the whole team show up.